Not many people know this, but Japan has gift tax, and if you don't know what that is, it might be worth watching this video so that you understand how the system works, when you might have to pay gift tax, and how you can maybe structure things so that you don't have to pay gift tax. So we need to start with a disclaimer. This is not tax advice. I cannot give tax advice. It would be illegal for me to give tax advice. So if you need advice for your specific situation, please contact your local tax office. They're very helpful here in Japan. They'll be happy to help you understand how things work. Or you can hire a tax accountant, a zeirishi, who can prepare your tax return for you. So what is gift tax? So in Japanese, it's called zoyoze. And it basically is a tax that's applied to gifts that you receive from an individual. If you receive a gift from a company, you would pay income tax and so on. But if you receive a gift from an individual and it's above a certain amount, then you would have to make a gift tax declaration, a tax declaration. You'd have to pay tax on that gift. Anyone living in Japan can receive up to 1.1 million yen's worth of gifts tax-free during a calendar year, so from January to December. If you receive gifts above that amount, this is from all sources, so put together, you would have to pay gift tax. And gift tax works like income tax in that there are bands, and it starts off at 10% and it goes all the way up to 55%. This is the gift tax table. And there's another table as well, which is used for gifts from immediate family, so from parents or grandparents, and that table looks like this. So if you receive more gifts than this in a calendar year, you would have to go to the tax office and declare the gifts and pay tax on them as necessary. The thing that catches out a lot of people is that this is also true between spouses. So even if you're married to someone and you give them money or gifts above a certain value, they would have to declare that and pay gift tax on it. Now, there are a lot of exceptions to this. The biggest and most important, most useful, is that you can pay for your household expenses or living expenses of family, and this does not count as a gift. So any money that you give to your spouse that they use to buy groceries or pay the rent or pay for school and that kind of thing, that does not count towards the gift tax limit. If you give money to your family for their living expenses, say your adult children are moving somewhere, you can give them money to cover their rent or to cover their food, and that also would not count as a gift. There's a system where parents or grandparents can give money to children for their education as a lump sum, and this also is not subject to gift tax. A spouse can give money to their spouse in order to buy a home. That's also not subject to gift tax. Parents can give money to their children for the purpose of buying a home. That's also not subject to gift tax. And finally, you can take what's called an early inheritance. So when you can receive a lump sum from a family member and so on, and count it as an inheritance, so that when they eventually pass away, you would pay inheritance tax on that amount rather than gift tax, because gift tax is much more expensive than inheritance tax. There's one more thing you need to be aware of, and that is the effect that your visa can have on gift tax. So basically, if you have a working visa and you've lived in Japan for less than 10 years, you do not have to pay gift tax or inheritance tax on gifts or inheritances that you receive outside Japan. If you have a spouse visa or permanent residence or a long-term resident visa or a child of Japanese national visa or any kind of those kind of residential type visas, you do have to pay gift tax on overseas gifts and inheritance tax on overseas inheritances. So it's worth being aware of this. So your visa type determines your gift tax liability, your inheritance tax liability for overseas gifts and inheritances. The person receiving the gift needs to file and pay the taxes, not the person giving the gift. And while most people don't actually end up having to file or pay gift taxes because of the 1.1 million tax-free amount and also the ways it can be structured, it's worth being aware of the situation where you might need to file gift tax. If you're not sure or you want some advice, please contact your local tax office or talk to a zeirishi here in Japan. How about you? Have you ever had to pay gift tax, or is this the first time you've heard of the system? Personally, I've never had a gift tax obligation. When I give money to my family, I always keep it under 1 million yen a year, and that means that there's no paperwork and there's no reporting requirement there either. So I hope that was useful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.